Hello, and welcome back to this series of early years videos from the North Somerset Educational Psychology Service. Today we're going to look at how attachment theory can help us support the development of relationships and emotional literacy in preschool children. We'll be doing this by looking at what we mean by attachment and how we can respond to children to help them make positive attachments. Attachment theory is a way to understand how people connect and bond with others. It suggests that the early experiences with our caregivers shape how we form relationships with others in later life. Attachment theory is one of the most widely researched, valid, and reliable theories of child development. Tens of thousands of children have been studied, and the research results are very clear. Experiences with our caregivers in our first 4 years of life can have a profound, long-lasting effect on our relationships in later years. Our early experiences are sometimes described as a blueprint or a soundtrack for the future. This means that we should feel secure in our relationships if things have gone well in our early years. On the other hand, if our caregivers were inconsistent, neglectful, or even abusive, we may end up constantly feeling nervous about relationships breaking down. We may avoid close relationships with others, or our relationships may be chaotic and disorganized. What's important for us to remember is that the research also shows that adult caregivers in nurseries and preschools can have a significant impact on the attachment styles of children. Many of us are likely to have personal experiences or know of friends or family whose lives were completely turned around thanks to the impact of a positive, supportive teacher or mentor who was not their parent. So, let's look at how we can use two important aspects of attachment theory in our work in preschools. Firstly, we have reciprocity, which is like a give and take of feelings between people. In general, if we share happiness with our friends and family, they will respond with happiness too. As an example, if a toddler approaches us with a grazed knee, we tend to copy their facial expressions and tone of voice to show that we understand their emotions by reflecting it back to them. We might stick out our bottom lip and say, "Oh no, you poor thing." When we do this, rather than saying, "Don't cry," we are matching their emotion and showing them reciprocity. Secondly, we have containment, which is when we detect an emotion in someone else and let them know that we accept it and do not feel overwhelmed by it. We can use a common example from daily life to think about containment. Imagine we come home from a stressful day at work and begin to tell our partner about it. If their response is, "Calm down, you're overreacting," then our emotion has not been accepted and contained. What's likely to happen is that we will say, no, you don't understand," and then exaggerate our story even more to make a point. If our feelings are not accepted and contained, the person expressing them will feel that they need to show them in bigger, louder ways in order to feel listened to. So, now we will look at some practical examples of how preschool staff can use the concepts of reciprocity and containment to support the relationships and emotional development in children. First up, we have the idea of active listening. This involves us reflecting back feelings to young people, showing that we understand how they feel and take them seriously. We should try to engage in active listening when children express their emotions or share their experiences. For example, if a child cries after breaking a toy, we might respond with, "I can see that you're feeling sad because your toy broke." This helps the child see that we understand their feelings and prevents them from exaggerating or repeating them in order to be taken seriously. An even more specific tip is to wonder out loud about children's feelings. We can help children develop emotional vocabulary by making guesses about their feelings. The reason that we wonder rather than tell children about their feelings is that it feels less threatening. Have you ever been told that you look angry? For most of us, our instinct is to say, "No, I'm not." When someone wonders aloud about our feelings, we're able to consider what they are saying with less defensiveness. For example, if a child is showing signs of frustration, we might say, I wonder if you're feeling cross because someone knocked over your tower." One final tip to teach children about reflecting emotions is for us to act as role models. Ideally, we want to demonstrate that emotions are normal and can be shared with others safely. For example, we might say, "I'm happy because Mrs. Smith just told me her cat has had kittens." And this gives children the chance to see how we reciprocate or share emotions with others as adults, something that they may not be used to seeing at home. As well as reflecting and mirroring emotions to show that they are understood, we need to provide containment by showing that children who express emotions are not a problem for us. Providing emotional containment is all about letting children know that it is safe and normal to express their emotions. When a child is becoming overwhelmed or distressed with their emotions, a containing adult will communicate with the child. Instead of telling the child that their emotions are silly or wrong, the adult will explain to the child that they know how they are feeling and they understand them. Perhaps the most effective method for containing strong emotions is to establish consistent phrases for children to hear when they express them. If a child shows frustration, for example, we might say, "I know you feel cross, but it's okay. I'm happy I know how you're feeling because now I can start to help you." So, containment is something that we can demonstrate anytime we are seeing a strong emotion in a child. Anytime we're giving them the message, "I understand how you're feeling, and that's okay with me," we are providing containment. Meeting children's needs is important, but so is giving them the message that we understand and care about what they need with our words. In summary, we can play a huge role in helping children learn about relationships with other people. Unfortunately, a minority of children in our settings will have had negative experiences and role models at home. But if we show children that we can feel what they feel, we understand how they're feeling, and that we're glad that they told us, we are helping them learn that relationships with other people can be fun, safe, and rewarding. And experiences like these can help them forever. And finally, let's not forget about safeguarding. Challenging behaviours in young children can sometimes indicate an underlying safeguarding need. As an early years practitioner, it's vital that you keep this in mind when supporting children who exhibit concerning behaviours like throwing, biting, fears and phobias, or separation anxiety. Remember, all behaviour communicates an unmet need. Take time to understand the possible function of the behaviour and what the child may be trying to communicate through their actions. Could the behaviour be a reaction to feeling unsafe or vulnerable in some way? Could the behaviour be a reflection of what the child has experienced at home? We need to make safeguarding a priority by looking beyond the behaviour to identify any potential welfare concerns. Be alert to signs of neglect, abuse, or exposure to domestic violence. Work closely with families, but avoid making assumptions. Focus on listening and building trust. Where you have any safeguarding concerns, no matter how small, ensure you follow your settings, procedures, and protocols. Record observations accurately and factually. Seek support from your designated safeguarding lead if you need guidance. With sensitivity, care, and professional curiosity, we can ensure early years settings are safe places where children's well-being is protected and they can thrive. Let's work together to keep children safe. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you found this video useful.